All right. Hello, welcome everybody. We're live here with Luis and Ray. Today's podcast we have Computer Repair Conroe. They repair computers and a lot of other stuff, but their experience in computers today and in today's age is really, really important for everybody. So, so introduce yourself. Your name, like where.
Yeah,
Company.
My name's Phllip. I am the manager and slash co-owner of Computer Repair Conroe. My brother, Sean, and I started the company about a year ago. And we have...
I'm Brayden. I started back in November-ish, somewhere around there, November 1st. I've been working on computers for about a couple of years. I built my first rig back in 2019, so a couple years ago. Mm-hmm. And I've been gaming since then. Well, I was gaming a little bit before then. We bought like a pre-built from iPower. Yeah. And been PC gaming.
How do you think the difference between the iPad, the ones that are pre-built versus building it your own?
So with the pre-builts, they put like some like cheap parts in it. So they put like a cheap power supply or cheap SSD, which is a pretty big thing with those. With the custom build, you can design it a lot better and do a lot of customization and have a lot better parts and whatnot with it.
It comes out to around the same price, or is it a lot cheaper to build
It's usually cheaper to buy it online, I think. Just pre-built. It might be a little bit more expensive with the personalization.
It also depends what you need it for, right? Like if you're going to be doing a lot of high-end gaming. So I'm a graphic designer. Most of my editing is on graphics, like graphic-based, but it doesn't go past like 3D editing. So once I get into 3D editing, then it's like I need a high-end computer. Yeah. I don't know if you guys know Beeble Crap. He does... a lot of 3D renders, and he sells NFTs. Yeah. You know him? Yeah. So he has a high-end rig. He does one graphic a day. He's done it for like the past 10 years, I think.
Yep.
So he's on a streak of 10 years going on strong.
Yeah.
But he needs a super high-end computer to do all those like fast.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
I wanted to get into it, but right now I only have M1 Max. And those do everything I need, everything except 3D. It boggles a little bit once I hit those 3D renders or those super high complex After Effects layers. Really does get bogged down. But in terms of gaming, I don't game. He games, so he understands a little bit more about that environment. But for sure, what got you into computers? With you.
My brother kind of got me into computers. He was a network administrator for a doctor's office many years ago, and he'd always bring stuff home, and we'd tear it apart.
Yeah,
I gotta fix this. What's wrong with it?
What year was that?
Man, it was early 2000s probably, but maybe 05 or so. So I've, because I've been messing with computers what feels like my whole life, because I remember, Windows 95 when the big towers came out, and they hadn't figured out how to make it smaller yet. So, we're talking like 3-4 feet, big suckers that don't compare to what
we have
what your phone can do.
Right, that is true.
So it's like
I remember looking at some of the specs on them, and it's like 8 megabytes of RAM or something like that.
Yeah.
Like 128 megabytes of RAM. It's like megabytes, not gigs, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And then your hard drive was like 512 megabytes or something like that. Not even gigs. It was like super low.
Everything's on a CD. That was the big thing when I started out. Everything was on a CD compared to, your drivers.
So you didn't deal with the floppy disk?
Well, that was with the drivers and stuff. Like, you still had drivers on floppy disks, but like you wanted to game, man, you better have that disc in because there's nothing else you could do. If you lost the disc, you lost the game.
he's over here like, what are they talking about? Floppy disk and what's going on?
I remember my introduction to floppy disks is that I had to print out a paper. But, I wrote it at home
Right.
And I needed to take it to the school because I didn't have a printer at home.
Yeah.
Those things were expensive.
Yeah.
So you would put in your disk, your floppy disk. It would drag it over, and then you would hear tuck 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 tuck.
Yep.
It's like a sewing machine going in there. And,
yeah, man.
I think that there used to be some of the school supplies. You had to buy
a
like a
disk.
floppy disk
Like
and
a
bring them
floppy
to you
disk,
to bring them to school, and that's
Really?
they were
You
like
would-
color coordinated,
Right.
different colors.
Yeah,
and
you could do
had
it.
little sticky notes so you can write your name on them or whatever
Whatever it
was on
was.
that file.
Mm,
Yeah, that was
Man, that was the big thing back in the day. You-
definitely.
I remember in high school, I would get away with listening to music in computer class and stuff. And I had a flash drive, and it was 512 megabytes. And I was like, I don't think I'm ever going to get anything more than this. And I buy a gig, and I'm like, whoa,
Right.
a gig. Now I'm like, I have 2 terabytes coming today. You know, it's like
Yeah.
triple what I had in high school. I'm like, all right.
Yeah, and then we had a Bear Share and
Yeah.
LimeWire.
Livewire.
Those
Oh man,
destroyed my computer so
Napster.
bad. Yeah.
Definitely.
Once you found out that you could get songs for free,
Mm-hmm.
you know, you
Oh,
just
yeah,
had
man.
to use Pirate Bay or some other
Exactly.
torrent.
Those were the
Torrent
good old
What the
days.
sites.
heck is
You know,
this?
those were the old days.
Yeah, a lot of people don't get that struggle of waiting, and then sometimes you would wait, and it would be like the wrong movie or the
Oh,
wrong.
I know,
thing.
man.
You're like, oh, like I think the end part was supposed to be a certain type, or else
Yeah.
if not, you downloaded
Yeah.
something that had nothing
Right.
to
And
do
that had
with
nothing
it.
to do with it.
You-
Yeah.
You can also look at the gigs and how
Yeah.
many gigs.
Correct. I
it
learned that
is.
Yeah.
later.
And
I
it's
was
like
a little
once-
slow.
If it's 1 megabyte and it's got 2 files,
Yeah.
don't even download
Don't even
it.
go with it. Yeah, I know,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, for sure.
Man.
Those were the days for sure. And you know, before iPods, you had like the MP3 players. Everybody had
Everyone
MP3
had a-
players.
yeah.
Everybody had their MP3 players, and I had them, you know,
Walk-
full of
Walkman.
music.
Yeah,
No, I don't think
Microsoft
I
had
was a
one
Walkman.
a long
Is
time
that
ago.
what it's called now?
Yeah, Walkmans.
Walkman.
Dude,
Yeah, Walkmans were
CDs.
before
that was
before
before still.
MP3s.
that was like
Showing my
early
age.
90s, you know?
Yeah.
But I remember that. I
Definitely
had a
showing
few
my
of them.
age.
Yeah, yeah, I didn't have any of that. No,
So.
for sure. Yeah, so I caught it at the end because I mean, we didn't have money to buy when I was like before, like preteen. Like we didn't have any of that. But once I hit my teenage years, then I got introduced to like all the MP3s, and you know, I even bought my own CD burner back in the day.
Oh,
Man,
yeah.
heck
I
yeah.
had
You have no idea what we're
a-
talking
a
about.
big
I've
old,
had a couple MP3 players.
Oh, okay.
I got one for my 14th birthday. I
Oh,
remember.
Yeah,
okay.
hey.
So.
yeah, it was like a big old box.
Yeah.
But it's just its own standalone.
standalone.
Yeah, because they didn't come in computers back
Yep.
then. It was just a CD drive.
Correct.
Yep.
Correct.
And then had the big old USB. I mean, they still use that USB or USB.
Yeah. They're moving to C, but a
Mm.
lot of them are still the USB like
The
B
square
version
ones, yeah.
to plug into the computers. But I remember that. I remember waiting when we would my brother and I would burn a CD, and it would take all night.
Oh yeah.
Like there was
Mhm.
no.
There's
It
just no
wasn't
way.
like today where I burn a CD and it's done in like
Instant.
10 minutes.
Mm.
We were like, hopefully this works. We wake up and we have a CD to listen to. Otherwise, we're gonna have to start all over.
Right. Or
Another
something would
CD.
pop up midnight. Something would pop up and it'd be paused. You're
Yeah.
Like, dang, I forgot to push start. I thought it was working the whole time.
Yeah, man.
Dang, good old times.
man,
Good old
good
times. I
old
think
times.
now, recently, probably a few years ago, I used to just do it through YouTube. It was
Mhm.
like YouTube to MP3 or MP4. And you
Yeah.
would just drag the link, and it was like
Yeah.
boom.
Boom.
they're like,
and
yeah,
it's
ready.
all right there.
Yeah,
it's
it's
all ready.
done.
I never bought a CD
Mm-hmm.
or a DVD. Never. I never
Awesome.
bought him.
What's
Huh?
wrong with you?
So once,
Yeah.
I did all of MP3 ripping, right, or burning, or whatever you
Yeah.
want to call it, and then the movies, same thing.
Yeah.
You know, and once I got to an age where then I would go to Redbox. Remember Redbox?
Mm,
Yeah.
That was
yeah.
the whole era of Redbox, and then
Redbox.
Netflix came in with
Yeah.
their DVDs where you could
Get
you,
Yep.
mailed
you
to
could
you.
give
Get 'em
them
mailed to you.
get them mailed to you. So you'd have 2 movies at a time, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and then somehow I was able to rip the DVDs from the source and burn it on my own DVD,
Yeah.
and then keep the movie. So you would rent them, rip them,
You
send
know
it back.
the
Send it
FBI
back.
could probably be listening to this
Probably.
right now. And they're gonna come get you.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So yeah, you would just there's some software you'd go
Yeah.
into the files right deep in
Yep.
there, and then you would get the biggest file and somehow convert it
to something that you
AVI
actually be able
or
to play with it.
MP4.
Yeah.
And but I never bought a DVD. And then once we were introduced to streaming, Netflix changed it to streaming, and I just stayed with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now I don't know if you guys still burn or download MP3s, but most of us I think use Spotify or anything.
Yeah.
Spotify. Things have changed a lot, and it's a lot more easier for the younger generation coming in.
Yeah. So when was your introduction to computers?
Probably when I was like a bit younger. My grandpa played World of Warcraft a lot. So I was introduced like a little bit younger. My brother would play it too. He also played World of Tanks as well. Oof. And then
that's a good game.
That's a good game.
Mm-hmm. So, and then eventually we got a console. We got like a PS3, and then
you never a PS1, PS2.
I had a PlayStation 2 when I was like really young.
Atari.
Way back.
That was the first one. That was before us.
Yeah. I played the original Spyro as well, like Spyro's Enter the Dragon, whatnot, Enter the Dragonfly.
Wow.
My brother was really big into that game, and then we finally got like a PlayStation 4, and like the graphics were just like insane.
Yeah.
And then we got a PC, and then that PC even had better graphics, and then I eventually built my gaming rig now, and then just done like little upgrades here and there, just over time on the years.
I think did you have an older brother?
Yeah.
So I think it's always with the introduction of them, like where they're at, like because I mean, for me, my parents they didn't buy computers, right?
No.
But it was like from having an older sibling or older friend that had some money that they were able to buy these things. You were like, wow, I'm a teenager and I can play with these things, because as a teenager you're not gonna be able to buy them. Or you would go to a friend's house and they would have like a awesome MacBook and all colorful, and you're like, what is that? Or in the school, like whenever we had I think it's like intermediate, we had like a computer class. And you had all those MacBooks. They're MacBooks.
What school did you go to?
There were MacBooks. There were Macs.
Yeah.
But they were the ones with the green shell in the back. I don't know if you remember those.
Yeah.
No, you know?
I don't remember.
I remember having one or two back in the day, because we play like Oregon Trail on it.
Oh yeah, Oregon Trail. Well, when I played Oregon Trail, it was those PCs that were the different colors. Like I think that's big round ones. I think Bill Gates actually like gave. Was it? No, they weren't Macs back then. They were still Microsoft. But he donated so many to the schools, and my school was one of the poor ones. So we had a bunch of those.
That's not school.
No, you had Max. You said Max, but I remember Oregon Trail, and that was like legit.
We played a 3D dinosaur game. That's how good they were.
Oh, no.
It was like
I wasn't there yet. I still had to go to the library to try to use some computer. And try to do that. There's in Greens Point, you didn't have friends that had PCs, and if they did, they probably stole them. Or then they got them stolen after that.
Yeah, I know,
man. But so the gaming, like I think gaming has taken this industry. I mean, computers are always going to be computers, right? Because you can use them for work, for business, for everything.
Everything.
But then gaming has kind of changed it to like where you can now automate it, which is kind of like what you guys are working on. My PC right now, is like adding more stuff to just have better graphics, better quality, better everything. I think I kind of like that concept that you can just edit and change and go from there. Is that a lot of the business that you guys get right now? More gaming, or is it a little bit of both?
It's a little bit of both. The benefit to me on gaming rigs and stuff is that you can adapt it a lot easier. If you buy a for instance, a Dell system, it's not a bad thing, but you go to upgrade the Dell system, the base stuff that they put in there, because they're being they make deals with Intel and things like that, it'll only go so far. Whereas like you put a custom motherboard in from Gigabyte, Asus, any of those big manufacturers, they're not really restricted by that. So you could put in a really good Intel processor for now, and then wait 2-3 years later, because they haven't changed how the processor fits in. You could upgrade that processor to something way more than what you had 4 or 5 years ago, and still use that same board. It might not. You might get a little bit of performance decrease just because of the older board, but realistically, I mean, you could continue upgrading it.
Right. And I think the gaming systems can also be used, like for him, for graphic designers.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Where
totally.
it's not, we'll use it for gaming, but they'll use it because they need to upload, render, quality,
video rendering.
Sure. My friend does video editing as well in Dallas, but he was in Houston when I knew him really well, and he built a system. I don't remember how many years ago, but he had to figure out a way to cool it. So he put so much hardware in, he ended up ripping out 2 leaf blower fans to put in the case. He custom modded it so he could turn it on. So whenever he started the 3D rendering stuff that we were talking about, it would actually be able to keep the system cool enough to finish the render process.
Leaf blowers.
Wow.
Yeah. So, I mean, we're talking like, 10-inch fans, 2 of them, like in top of the case. That I looked at it a few times and I was just like, is this real?
Could he have done something better, like water cool it or?
Well, this was 5 years ago.
Yeah,
but 5 years ago,
he could have done water cooling and stuff, but he didn't have the money for it. So it was like trying to find a way to economically.
Yeah, because I was introduced to 3D around 5 years ago.
Yeah.
I had in our design program, we only had like MacBooks and iMacs, and there was like i5s or even and they were just not gonna do nothing.
Yeah, they were gonna do anything like that.
I left the graphic rendering. It was like 30 seconds. 30-second render. I left it for like 25 hours or something rendering.
Yeah.
What is rendering?
Rendering is whenever you put everything together in your software, and then you have to export it as a compressed file. So it could be MP4, MOV, or whatever file that you can play on your. It's called transcoding. Yeah.
A lot of times our church will do, they'll stream to Facebook or something like that, and then they export it to YouTube. Well, a rendering process has to happen so that it, from the Facebook Live to the YouTube, it'll actually play on YouTube.
Okay. I guess kind of what we do here.
Yeah.
When we download it, I just download it and then I just drag it and drop it there.
Right.
It's so much easier. Couldn't imagine doing that a few years ago.
Oh yeah,
man.
Insane. So that's why I didn't go into 3D stuff, because it's just the power that it takes to 3D render is insane. So I just stayed with flat graphics for a while.
But 3D, what does 3D mean?
3D rendering. So like any
video?
game, any video that you play, video game is 3D rendered. That's why you need a high-end graphics card.
Yeah.
But it's rendered every frame.
Like quick.
Yeah.
So
I only
which is the issue that I'm having right now.
Like,
this is why you have my PC.
World of Warcraft or even Call of Duty. All of that's 3D graphics.
Right.
As you're going in there, the times that you can do a 360 of the gun, or look at it and change the colors and stuff. It's all an overlay has to happen, but if it's in 3D, that overlay has to happen across the whole. The whole gun, so that way you don't turn and all of a sudden that that skin's not there.
You're missing stuff. Yeah, to me that stuff still blows my mind, where I'm playing live with someone in a whole different state at the same time, watching the same thing.
I remember
it's just like
playing online with PS2. You would have to you had dial up, but you could still play.
Yeah.
It was still playable,
Yeah.
That was insane whenever that happened. You had to, I think it was free with PS2, right? It was free with PS2 that you could play online, and then Xbox you had to have a pass.
Yeah.
But yeah, for sure. I lost my train of thought looking at that.
But yeah, so when you started working with them, like what made you be like, this is what I really, really like? Like, why continue that? I mean, you're 20, you're still
kind of when I started, it just seemed like interesting to me, like what you can do with them, because like every year we're expanding, and like the computers are just getting even better and better. Like this year's graphics cards is twice as better as last year's or the year before, something like that. So It's always been like an interesting topic to me. I've always wanted to like just get down and just diagnose and look at a computer. So I've always wanted to like work on computers or like do like cybersecurity kind of thing. Like get my certification and do like networking and stuff like that.
And those are things that you guys offer as well.
Oh,
security and networking and all that. What is networking mean? Because when I hear networking, I hear like I see 20 people together talking.
It's
real
like
life
that,
networking.
but in cables.
In cables? Okay.
No. So think about like LAN, right? That's a network.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's a connection of computers, but I'm sure you can explain it better.
Well, you basically hit it. Basically, networking is taking, how to connect one system to the next, and how to take those two systems and connect it to the internet. Because realistically, the internet is just a compilation of computers,
right?
So of smaller networks, but just connected into a larger area, and corporations have bought that space out. So Optimum, Comcast, things like that. Those are required now to connect to the internet. But networking is just how to get it all
up and going.
Yeah, up and going.
So you guys help I'm guessing there's a scale, right? Like a small business wouldn't necessarily need a whole network, right? They would just need several computers. So maybe the register, maybe the office computer, maybe like a connected all to the cloud, or in
it just depends on what you're trying to achieve realistically, because a smaller doctor's office would have to have internet, so because most of their stuff is online, the practice management systems and things like that, a lot of them are online based, but you can get them local that doesn't require as much internet, but still most people nowadays, they want emails. Hey, I want this to be emailed to me, I want that to be done. And if you do it right, and I say do it right, like if you depending on what you need in there is going to depend on what scenario, because you're right, like we don't in our office we don't need a huge big setup, something like 40 ports connected so we can connect 40 different computers at once. Right. We don't necessarily need that.
It's overkill.
It's totally overkill.
But
now
you do have like 40 things set up over there. You have like 20 different monitors.
Yeah, I know, right? I mean, in our office, monitors and stuff.
I'm way lost.
But I mean, like Wi-Fi and stuff. Like that's where a lot of stuff is coming into play now.
Wi-Fi is terrible. I mean, the drop rate is just insane. Yeah, so you should always try to be connected. But I mean, convenience-wise, Wi-Fi is just king, right?
Yeah, I mean,
what's easier?
Realistically, hardwired into the back of your system or through a USB dongle is going to be better than an actual Wi-Fi connection, just because the latency of Wi-Fi to network, and whereas hardwired in, you won't get that much latency.
Yeah.
Unless you're just overloading your whole network.
Did you know that in Cuba they don't have the internet as we have it here?
Mm-hmm.
Did you know that?
No.
They have their own internet.
I thought everyone had.
No, not in Cuba, or of course not in North Korea and these communist countries.
Yeah.
They don't have the internet as we have it here. They have their own internet.
Mm-hmm.
So they essentially have the whole country wired together.
Yep.
So to get into the internet, you have to wire into to get it.
And you only get to see what they see.
Right. So you only their library. No, there's no Google. They have their own search engine, their own library of images, their own library of whatever, and it might all be just what the government wants you to see.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know that?
I did not know that. Did you?
Never heard of that.
We're too young. We're too young to know about that. That's old people stuff. But I guess the idea behind that is just to keep the control.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Control. Keep what you can see.
If you're trying to keep someone suppressed, you don't want them to be able to go out and talk to someone in America that's like, bro, you should go, pick up a gun and fight the country.
Go fight them.
You don't want them to know that they could do that.
That makes sense. That makes sense a lot. So maybe that's what I need to start doing then, is connecting hardwire to some of my stuff. Because a lot of my stuff is through the cloud, but we do use a lot of internet. And then I'll get the random call, hey, the internet's down. What do I do? Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh, it probably just linked to another connection or something.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of calls you get where you go, because you also go to locations.
Yeah, I mean, stuff like that we'll go out and, help people with, and, we'll help figure out a solution for them is the best form of it. The best scenario is not to maybe put it on Wi-Fi, but to see that there's a network cable close by and just say, hey, plug this in and let's disable the Wi-Fi. It'll get a solid connection. You don't have to mess with anything. You don't have to, worry about drops.
But isn't there like Wi-Fi enhancers now, or like that make the system better?
Yeah, you could buy repeaters to retransmit it. And when it comes to Wi-Fi, they have channels. So there's like 1 through 13. So if you go to set it up, a lot of them are set to auto. So it'll just auto select. And they just stack on each other. So, in a facility like we're in, where we're running 4 or 5 businesses, and they're all different networks, most people don't go in to separate it out. So they just stack on each other. So that's where you get drops and collisions and things like that, where your computer's running slow, but it's not the computer, it's the internet. So if you separate it out across a different channel from instead of being on 1 through 5, you put it on 10 through 13. You'll end up being in a clearer area, and so you might get less drops and faster speeds and things like that.
And is that something someone can do on their own device, or is
you
that
can do it on your own device,
or is that like Comcast and Suddenlink?
No. Typically you would have to go in and do it.
Okay.
It's not hard, but a lot of people don't want to play with it,
Right.
And that's kind of where we come into play.
Setting up your own repeater. I mean, I've had an old router that I'm like, I want to get better internet, right?
Yeah.
So go into the router, connect into the router, and, the IP is like 1.1.1 or something like that, or local router, whatever it is, and then you log into your router, you add a new like the settings there will show you how, or just Google it.
Yeah,
for sure. But I think nowadays, like the internet or the Wi-Fi is like, my Wi-Fi at home is good enough to cover the whole house.
Yeah.
Not for gaming, I bet.
Yeah, maybe not for.
You got to step it up.
It's like 400 megabytes, which is not the best. You know, it's not like 1 terabyte.
Yeah.
But it's good enough for everything that we need.
Your iPads, your tablets.
Yeah.
The good old fashioned.
Yeah.
I mean,
for all the consumer.
I know besides Bray gaming, but do you use an actual laptop at home when you're not working?
Yeah. So I use one like this. I have 2 of these. One for.
He's always working.
Okay.
Always working.
I see.
Okay.
I see.
Yeah. So I carry one of these around, and I just connect it to my monitor setup.
Yeah.
Or I go downstairs and work on the couch or wherever I'm at. Like, I can pull it out and start working anywhere. But that's just me. But I most of the work happens in the desk setup. That's where your most of your productivity happens.
Yep.
Everything else is just like catching up or making a small edit here or writing an email. But for sure, working off a laptop is the worst. Yeah, for sure. Like, you can't get anything done. In terms of like a major task, like if you're gonna sit there and do a whole video or do a whole website, it's just not gonna happen. Yeah. You're just gonna do a couple edits here, and then you're gonna get tired of
having to be
bending over and
bending over.
That's why I like that stand that you have. That's why I asked you that one day. You're it's like a little bit taller.
Yeah.
He's got like it's not this. It's probably a little higher.
Yeah.
But you can use it to stand up.
These computers, they don't come with Ethernet anymore. It's just 2 USB ports and that's it.
Yeah.
They made it to where you shouldn't even think about that.
Yeah.
So that's a horrible thing in terms of like utility, but in terms of design, you can just carry that laptop
exactly
anywhere.
That's what a lot of manufacturers are moving to is actual how can we streamline this so that if they drop it, it's not going to necessarily destroy the system. Because, you know, back in the day, you had these big bulky things that weighed 10 pounds, and they called it a laptop, and the battery was, you know, about a brick that added 10 pounds to it. So you're walking around with 20 pounds, and then if you accidentally dropped it, that thing went to pieces. Yeah, battery went one way. Hopefully the monitor didn't crack, you know, and so now it's like you take an Apple and you throw it in your bag, and it might get dinged up here and there, the case itself, but the monitor still works, the keyboard still works. And what a lot of companies have ended up doing is they ended up shipping those with a docking station. So you just plug it in and you connect all of your monitors, keyboards, and everything, and it becomes a desktop.
Yeah.
But it's not a desktop.
Right, it's not.
You're still working off of a laptop processor, a laptop RAM.
Slower, I'm guessing.
Slower.
But what about? I mean, these new computers have the silicon chips, right? The M1, the M2. I mean, they have it in the. I mean, the Mac Mini is essentially a laptop without a screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not as powerful as like you would say like the big towers. But they work. They do.
Oh yeah,
everything.
heck yeah, man.
They do everything I need.
They do everything that you need. And that's the thing that I've grown to tell people is like, look, I'm not here to tell you that, you know, Mac's better than Windows or Windows better than Mac. It's all a preference. Right. So
but I'm not gonna game on this thing.
Right. You're not gonna game on a Mac. It's a different setup entirely. But you know, if you like it, like I like Mac. I think it's an awesome setup. I'm able to do a lot more things with it, productivity-wise.
How so?
So, like, one of my favorite things is on a Mac is that I can text through it. So I don't always have to have my phone out at this point. It's something comes in, whether it's personal or work, I can respond to it from at my fingertips instead of having to stop what I'm doing, pull out my phone, look at it exactly,
and then get
put it in.
sidetracked.
Yeah, and then now I'm sidetracked on something like, oh, yeah, I was playing this game on my phone. So, you know, I might as well take a 5-minute break, right?
Yeah.
I don't have to do that. I'm right there, quick response, and I'm back into the email or whatever system I was working on. But, you know, I noticed not too long ago, you know, Windows did that with Android. So a lot more productivity is coming into play where it's leveling out the playing field. But, you know, if you like... if you're more Linux based in things, you'll probably really like Mac. So
one thing about Linux, I mean, I knew about Linux since, you know, the beginning of when I started computers. Like, okay, what else is out there? I was like, what else is out there? Okay, well, you have, you know, Mac OS, you have the Raspberry
Pi
OS, you have Linux.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, the suggestion was once you pooped it with all the everything, install Linux and it'll be a new computer.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I'll do that. And then I did that, and then you have everything that you want.
Yeah.
But you still feel isolated somehow.
Linux?
Yeah.
Never heard of it.
Bro.
Is that the Penguin?
Yeah, that's the Penguin.
Okay, see, kind of. But never played with it.
Never played with it.
I have no idea what does it look like.
Yeah, so it's just a whole open.
It's just a
open
software.
It's just like Mac, but it's free. The biggest one that I like to play with is called Ubuntu, and it looks very similar to Mac OS. The way the interface works, everything else is real similar to that, and you know, I used it for years working on different IT stuff because I didn't need a lot, right? I didn't need to have I didn't need Office products, in essence, is one thing.
But and you still have it.
Exactly. It came with
I think now you still have it. But even a few years ago, well, I would say maybe at least 4 or 5 years ago, you couldn't do this Microsoft stuff on the Apple, right? Or am I thinking way too far back?
No, I bet it was a few years ago that they kind of, I bet they started a few years ago because they realized, Microsoft realized, hey, I could charge more for that.
And that's what it comes down to, is the money.
Yeah, so
it comes down to money.
There's a lot of different ones. There's Google has their own cloud, right? Google Docs,
Google
Drive.
Drive.
I use Drive a lot.
Yeah,
and I like it
too.
because I can use it anywhere,
Exactly.
at any time.
Yeah.
And
You can access it from your phone and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
can
you
just
have
log. I just
all
log
the
in.
Google, what do they call it? Suite, right?
Yep.
Google
The
Suite.
Google Suite.
But then you have also the Microsoft Suite, which is like your Office 365. And then you have your Mac OS Suite, which is like, paper and what is it called?
Yeah, pages,
Notes.
numbers.
Pages, numbers.
Oh, that's right. That's
Keynote.
Right.
You can essentially interchange from all of them. You can export as.
Correct.
Yep.
Then it comes too much. That's why I think I like Drive, because whether I'm on my PC or on this or my phone, Drive is the same.
Right.
It's a Google Doc,
So
and
it
it's
just
through the
depends,
cloud.
like,
I guess, like you
preference.
said, preference.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But
What do you
Linux has everything, right?
Yeah.
Linux has everything, but it's their own version of it.
Linux has everything, but a lot of people customized it so that it's free. So I tell people, if you want a local word processing program, use LibreOffice because it's free. You don't have to pay for it. You don't have to mess with it. Yes, the interface is different, but that's with anything. You're not getting Word for free.
Right.
You're getting a new program that acts like Word, that will recognize the misspelling words, that will recognize the punctuation problems and stuff like that.
Same thing as Word.
Same thing as Word.
Yeah.
But what about when you export it now, right? So you export it to me, and I only use Microsoft, and he only uses iOS.
It'll export to those different formats. So plus it saves it in its own format, just because
So
inertly
one question
it's
is, like, why would somebody need or want Linux? Because like for me, I'm always like looking for a reason to.
Yeah.
But there is no reason. For me.
I use Linux in two different scenarios. One is when I get really tired of something, like if I'm really tired of Windows. That's what used to happen to me, is I would reinstall Windows every year, because I would trash it somehow, and I never knew how I did it. I'm like, I didn't go to these random websites. I didn't do any of this stuff.
Right.
I was just doing work stuff, and it started crashing. So I was like, you know what? If I put Ubuntu on here, there's a chance that I might not actually have to reinstall this. And so for one, to me, it's a bit more stable. But the other thing is, realistically, monetary is another option, because Linux is free. You don't have to buy a Windows, license key. You don't have to buy all of these other little add-ons for it.
So if you have like multiple computers, so like if you run a business like yours where you have all these computers, you have like, let's say 10 of them.
Yeah.
Every single license is like $100. You're talking
Right,
about
exactly.
$1,000 in just
like
licenses.
Exactly.
$5.99 a month or
And
something.
you can't run them if you want to run them, or if you want to, let's say, I don't know what you would do with 10 computers.
I mean, you don't have to do it. Plus, you could take older systems and run Linux on it, and still make it last. So you could take an old MacBook that you really are thinking of selling or trashing, and put Ubuntu on there or something, and just use it as a media center.
So how's Linux making money?
It's a nonprofit, right? Donations.
Yeah, there's donation based, but also I know like Ubuntu in specific, were able to get a contract through a bank system in the UK for them to move to support it and stuff. So they run support through it. There's free support, but then you could buy support from the company that backs Ubuntu. And you can do
a lot. I mean, sorry to interrupt.
No, go for it.
You can do a lot with computers that isn't just your normal everyday. Everyday, like browsing the internet. Things that you can do on your phone. You can do a lot with computers, like set up your own home automated network.
Yeah.
You can set up your own cloud. What else can you do? That's all I
know. You can do so much.
You could do a lot of things, but these two things are coming to mind. No, you could do a lot. There's a whole section of like DJ stuff. You have DJs that come in with different programs that play music, and it connects to controllers they're able to do different things. Depending on what environment you're in, you can utilize it. Robotics,
right?
Robotics, you have you can run wireless cars and stuff through programs, and you got Tesla,
right? Tesla, it's its own computer. Yeah, we've used it.
What does it use?
Linux.
Let me guess.
It's probably, but it's probably their own custom version of it. So
Yeah, we've used in the design world. We've used the Raspberry Pis to set up like a experiential design where you would walk in and something would pick up your motion, and then it would turn on this screen, and then it would talk to you, and then this screen would jump to the other screen, but it would be the same.
So like the stuff that I see in the movies?
Something like that, interactive stuff where you would use a touch screen and then you would set up your own interactive experience. Wow. Some museums do that a lot. So some
I just use it to game and Google Docs and Facebook.
If y'all get into crypto, you can run your own mining software that runs your own.
That takes a lot, right?
I mean, it takes power and graphics cards and stuff. But
customer that come in, he said he got raided twice because he had a bunch of systems set up, and like supposedly like the government uses like heat or something to see houses.
Yeah, like a heat
index. Yeah, and it popped up, and they like raided in there, and they got in there twice. I think it was 2 different houses or something, but all he had was just a bunch of systems mining.
Yeah.
And
so how does that? Do you know a little bit about mining and how that works? The technology that goes behind it, or
a little bit. The premise of it, a lot of crypto stuff that I've experienced in the past couple years it's all based on demand. So, Bitcoin was a big one that started out, and it wasn't that big of a deal. So, someone got a coin or two, and I want to say probably 5 years ago, or even maybe more, it wasn't worth anything.
Right.
So. But they decided to keep it, put it somewhere, and demand went up, and people started using it as money. So it went from worth nothing to $1,000 a coin or $500 a coin.
21,000 right now.
Yeah, so I mean, that's it's crazy. All of a sudden it's like, wait a second, I actually have money now. I could sell this, exchange it for actual cash. And be able to buy a car from it.
That's crazy.
You can buy you can buy directly with Bitcoin in some places.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, in some places you can.
Wait, like with your crypto, like crypto.com, the thing I sent you.
Yeah,
they'll send you a Visa card, and whatever you have there, you just swipe. And
anywhere Visa and crypto.
Yeah. So it's like if you have stuff in there, you just swipe it and it just takes it off of there.
Yeah.
Are you in that in there?
I'm not necessarily in it, just because me personally, it's a lot to necessarily be in it, and to have a system to maintain it and everything else. I don't necessarily want to put the money into it. I got other priorities besides actual, buying 10 graphics cards to make, Ethereum for, a year and realize I only made $200.
Right. What about you?
I've never gotten to the gaming, like the mining rig, but I bought a couple crypto. So I bought like Shiba and like Doge.
So you're in there following.
Did you lose a lot of money?
I'm down probably around like 800-ish, around there.
Yeah, I'm down like 200.
Yeah, my brother's down like $3 or $4 grand in Doge right now.
Yeah, and then what is he gonna do? Is he gonna wait?
We're all holding it, waiting for it to go back up, because we watched it before where it'll drop really bad, and then it'll skyrocket to a new price, new thing.
Sell.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Because Bitcoin's usually like 60 grand. Now it's down to like 20 grand, something like that.
Mm-hmm. But like you said, it's based on demand, like everything else, right? So, what caused the demand to go? It was just hype. Was it like
it can be hype. It also can be backing. So if you get enough people willing to back the coin and build support it, then a lot of people want to jump on it. And so all of a sudden, what started out as, $1 million is now 10 million, because everyone's buying in it and starting to want to use it, figure out how can you do it. So to me, a lot of it is the more it's acceptable. So if you can get a business to take that cryptocurrency as actual cash, you're now you're talking business,
Yeah, that's what I've been trying to do for a few months. And Square, I think, was as close, but Square only does it through like if I send you an invoice. If I send you an invoice, it'll tell you pay through Bitcoin or Ethereum. You can pay through those options, but not a customer that walks in and be like, hey.
You probably need a new merchant.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Sure, I have been looking into it, and that's why I got the Bitcoin machine, which is
it's pretty cool.
Actually, you shouldn't. So, what I've learned a lot here recently, because before you could only buy Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Now you can buy unlimited coins. Now they just upgraded it, and I was playing with it. So I put $60 in what I sent you, because on this one you put cash, right? So a lot of people like it because you don't have to use your personal bank account. It's not leaked. People that get scared that they might get tracked or whatever their thing might be. You put cash in. I have there's people that come in here $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. Like they'll come in there loaded. There's a guy that comes in here, and at first I was like, oh, who's that guy? And it's like, that's the guy that brings in like $4,000 or $5,000 a week. A week. And his car, if you see his car, you're like, that guy has $100 on him right now. But anyways, he'll put it in there and buy whatever he's buying. But now you can buy all that. And the good thing now is, because when I used to play with it, it would only be through that app. Now I can use anycrypto.com or Trust Wallet or any of these wallets that you have, and you just scan it and it just sends it right to your account, which is good. But the fees are pretty high. But I guess it's one for the other, right? It's like convenience, like just cash, or link your account and transfer or whatever you want to do. But
and the safe way to do crypto that I've learned about in a few different ways is to have two wallets. You have a hot wallet and a cold wallet, and basically all that means is you have one wallet that you do money exchanges. So on this one, I have cash that I'm going to use now, and I'm willing to potentially lose that. And then you have a cold wallet that is just stashed somewhere that only gets used for, long-term stuff, or even just like your savings account. Hey, this is where I'm putting money in to not touch it.
Correct.
And so, and then if you want to change all of that, you take your you move it to the hot wallet. So you make those swaps.
Right.
Because now a lot of people are trying to hack that,
I was learning yesterday because I was talking to my buddy Joey, and he knows a lot. I think he said a B wallet. There's a wallet that you have to pay for, and you have to buy. But that wallet is like, you can't get to it. There's like no one, like only you can get to it, and it's very hard to get to it. I think he called it a B wallet. Is that what he said? Something like that. But that's kind of what I do. So I was using more Trust Wallet was my play wallet, where I would buy like new coins. So when people come up with new coins, let's say your buddy makes a new coin, and then it's new, right? So you buy in it, and it's 6 zeros, right? So $20 get you 1 million coins or whatever.
You're a millionaire, but
in coins. Then if that coin, I think it's like 2 weeks, and if it grabs attention and it goes up, then you made some money. But if it doesn't, then you lost your $20. But so that was what I was using Trust Wallet for. So I was in a little group message thing, and be like, hey, this new coin's coming out tonight at midnight. Put $30-$40, and then you're gonna go up. But then now I use crypto or my I think crypto.com is like my long term. Like I'll put like, all right, here's $60 that I'm not going to use, and if I lose them, I lose them. But I was going to go spend them.
So it's like gambling.
It's it's totally like gambling.
It's like you go to the casino with like $1,000, and you're like, okay, if I lose this, I lose this, but it's not my.
It's investing.
Yeah, but
investing makes you money. How much have you
made?
But
not always.
So then it's not investing.
It is investing.
Because you can gamble and make money.
Well, you can do both, right? Because when you invest, that's what you're doing, right? You invest in your business, you're going to make money, but you can crash and die. You invest in stocks, and you can make some money, or it can crash and die. Yeah. So I think it's still investing, because you're gambling. To me, it's more. Well, either way, they're both gambling and they're both investments. So I play poker, and that's my investment. Right. So I have my poker money. It's on the side. But that's more like more of how would you say that, instinct, right? So I can lose it. But compared, if you put it in the market, whatever markets you might put it in, it can still crash and die. Nothing's guaranteed, and if it was guaranteed, the only guaranteed is long term. Like what's his name, the investor, he's older now.
Warren Buffett.
Well, yeah. I mean, long term. That's the only way to really.
Real estate.
Yeah, real estate.
Real estate, you can lose too.
Oh yeah, you can lose.
Like all these people that bought these houses this last year and year for like 20-30% of market value, and it's starting to.
Is it starting to go down?
Yeah, it's gone down some.
Yeah.
It's gone down some. So if it keeps going down, boop, they're gonna be foreclosing pretty soon. And anyways, we'll get back into computer stuff.
Yeah.
So earlier you said something about you started working on PS4s and.
Yeah. So I found this one guy on YouTube. It's like Tronics Fix or something like that. And he does like a lot of like he'll buy like lots of Xboxes and PS4s, and he'll look at them and he'll do like micro soldering for them and like repair them. And it piqued like an interest to me because I've always wanted to do like soldering and stuff like that. So I started buying like Xbox Ones and stuff like that off of like eBay, and actually Goodwill has an auction online. I found that about. And you can buy like broken consoles off there or fixed consoles, and then you buy them for cheap in bulk, and then you fix them up for a little bit cheaper, and then you can sell it for like a little bit of profit. So like I bought like an Xbox One X, and the power supply went out because it would just power cycle. So basically it would turn off and then turn back on, and I fixed the power supply and it runs just fine. So I can sell that for like $50 more than what I totally put into it.
And what about your time that it took you to fix it? It's work.
It didn't take me more than like an hour to fix it because whenever I bought it, I did research while it was like being shipped here for like a day.
Okay.
And then I found out that it was a power supply, so the next day I went ahead and bought the power supply so I could get it in and test it. And I ended up using one of we had an Xbox One X in the store, and I ended up using their power supply, and it actually worked. Once it came in, I threw it in, and it worked just fine, and tested just fine and whatnot.
Did you have to do any soldering or anything like that, or no?
No.
The power supply.
It was probably soldering. Basically, it was coil wind that was happening with it, which I'm not too sure what's going on with that. But I'm guessing like a coil like went wrong with it, and it would need to be resoldered. But with power supplies, you can't really mess with them too much. You can't really take them apart because they just have like big capacitors.
Yeah, the capacitors hold a lot of energy.
Yeah, they hold a lot of energy, so it can be
kill you.
Yeah, it can be damaging to your body if you get shocked by it.
Yeah.
So it's not really safe to work on power supplies.
We would get the capacitors and we would shock people with them. So be like, here, grab it, and you would grab it, and everybody would hold hands and shock everybody.
That explains a lot. That I understand you a lot more now.
What are you talking about?
I'm sure those waves.
They enhanced my brain a little bit.
Yeah, it enhanced your brain a little bit. But yeah, I used to do nothing close to that. But I've always liked technology and things like that. But I don't know where I fell off. But when I was younger, I would take RC cars apart and try to build stuff together and make lights. And I would get like the battery packs from the RC cars, and then I would wire. I had a little go-kart, and I wired some lights to it, and I wired my CD player with my computer speakers that were like this big. Freaking huge back in the day, and I used to drive my go-kart. It would last like 30 minutes because those little 3 batteries would die really fast. But I think technology's gone like so much farther than that now. And I think, what do you guys think in general with technology? Is it like overall a better than we used to have? Like, is it overall better? Is it overall making things too easy for us in a sense?
I think people tend to not want to play with stuff anymore because out of the box it just works.
Right.
And
it's just so easy.
It's so they make it so easy that I don't need to mess with this. I don't need to do this, and that's, you know, like you said, you know, you took stuff apart to make something else. Not a lot of people are doing that. They're saying, well, why don't I just buy a battery and buy, you know, speakers and stuff like that.
Right.
So to me, it is easier, but, you know, I still like to dig into it. You know, I a lot of people ask me about phone questions and stuff about their phone, and it's like the only reason I know that is because I decided to go play in the settings of my phone and screw it up. Right. Change the language to Spanish. I don't even know how to read it at this point, but I know that if I click this button and this button, it'll get me back.
Right. Like whenever you're trying to work out some Chinese instructions,
exactly.
Or something, you're like,
is this it? Oh crap, that's not it. Let me go back one.
Back it up a little bit.
So I mean, so there, and everything has it. Like I had some headphones that if I held the power button down too long, it would change language. So all of a sudden,
those right there?
No. But it was a different version of these that I got on, and like one time I randomly, and I was like, why is it speaking Chinese to me? I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know what it said, and I realized, oh wait, I changed the language somehow. So I mean, to me, no one wants to play with it.
Right.
But that's kind of why I'm here.
And that's exactly. That's why you guys are here.
We're here to make it easier.
One thing about technology, like when we were growing up and we had dial-up, we didn't think that was slow.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We thought
that was like,
thank you for this.
What was the noise that it would do when it's? Can you do the noise for us?
It's like, I don't remember.
The dial-up noise.
Yeah. I don't remember. It's like
we could play it.
Yeah, we could.
Go ahead and play it.
Yeah, let's see.
I don't think I ever used dial-up.
Lucky you.
Yeah.
I remember my first phone was like a little flip phone, and like if you wanted to text, you had to do 222 for C or something like that.
I think nothing's gonna beat how fast I could text in those. Even now, like I feel like I could text a lot faster on those. Like, and I can do it, at school, just under here, just. Still making eye contact with the teacher. Now even, I mean, it's still easier on the iPhone now, but still sometimes your fat fingers might push something else.
Yeah, because you can't really see it, A lot of some kids had like Blackberries, and they had like the little actual like buttons on it, and one kid could actually just have it in his pocket, and he could just text.
Right.
He could just text with it just without even like looking at it or anything like that.
Just clicking on it. Hey, I heard it in the background.
So what I was going with is, do you think that there's some technologies that we have now that we're like, oh, these are just the best, but 10 years from now we're gonna be like, what were we doing there?
What the hell was that?
So here's dial-up.
There it is.
That's it.
Yeah. That was it. That was it. And that, you were ready. You would get your MySpace ready. You're like, all right, we're about to log into MySpace. We used to be like, all right, especially when we used to use dial-up. I mean, it was 15 years ago, I think, but I think we just couldn't afford better internet. But me and my buddies were like, all right, let's check what we're doing today. Let's check, turn it on. And then we'd turn it on and get on MySpace real quick. All right, we're going here. But man, good old times.
You couldn't use the phone.
Right, you
definitely not.
They were the same.
Yeah.
Don't use the phone.
I'm playing right now. Hey, good times. So what else do you guys do? So you guys do IT in general, security. We said earlier. What is that? What is that?
I mean,
entitled.
So
cameras.
Security, like we.
I don't think that's cameras.
No, it's not cameras.
No,
we can set up cameras, but more importantly, what security is we do like computer security, like antivirus, and check that system's up to date and stuff like that. Because a lot of people don't patch their system, so they don't run Windows updates or Mac updates and things like that. And there's a lot of vulnerabilities that people are finding that leave them open for attacks and things. Now, some people will say, well, I don't really use this that often, and why would someone attack me? And it's like, well, why wouldn't they? You know, that's kind of what I start to say.
That's why they would attack you, because you're asking that question.
Exactly. It's like, so, because we've gotten things, I've dealt with a lot of, ransomware, stuff like that in the past. Where
no idea what that is.
So ransomware will basically, it's like a virus, but what it does is it attaches to your system and it encrypts the files.
It locks you out of your own stuff.
It locks you out of all of the files that you had access to, and then if it's smart enough and they programmed it correctly, if your computer's a part of a network, it'll move to the next system that it has access to. So we've had it before where an office got attacked, and we had to figure out where it started from, because all of a sudden the server's being encrypted, files are encrypted and stuff like that, and it's like, hopefully we have a backup of this, because there's no way for us to really, the only way to decrypt it is to basically pay somebody, which is possible if you really have important files. Otherwise, it's where it's just scrapping it, you know, because you can run the chance of paying them whatever they want, but most of the times you're going to pay them and they're out for money, so they don't care if you get your files back.
Right.
You know?
Right. Okay.
Do you guys set up any like VPNs or recommend any of them? That what do you guys think about doing that rather than just having your identity out there for everybody to see?
Realistically, to me, it's better to run off a VPN, because you never know what's going on out there. And quite honestly,
this guy what a VPN is, because he's looking at me. I was like, what is that?
What is that? Is that a new weapon on Call of Duty?
Hey, they might make that a weapon soon.
They might.
You know,
what's
you
VPN?
Basically, what a VPN does, more than what it is, a VPN basically is companies will host servers for you to pass your internet traffic through, and what that does is basically it'll protect what you search from. Like, you know, you use Comcast, so what it'll do is it'll make a connection between you and Comcast. And so if you were searching something and say it was of a sensitive nature that the government said, I need to figure this out, who this is. Well, your IP address is this VPN provider, not Comcast. So they'll reach out to Comcast and they'll say, hey, I know you're there. And then Comcast is going to say, well, all his traffic's going to this guy. And so that company, depending on who the company is, they might have logs, they might not. And so it'll just stop. Mm-hmm. And so they'll say, well, okay, I can't do anything.
So it's like a protection.
Right. So
yeah, it's a layer of
type
protection.
in my IP address is. So that's public. That's your public IP. That means everybody has access to what that is, and that's your location.
So people can find me, right?
Yeah.
So this is how people in gaming would send the SWATs. What is it called?
Yeah,
Swatting?
like swatting.
Yep.
Yeah,
you know what that is?
I think it's whenever you're gaming and then the SWAT.
So
I
saw this one Twitch streamer
blows the door
a couple weeks ago. He got swatted, but basically they take your IP and then they say like, oh, like they find out where you live, and then they'll send the SWAT to your house, and then they'll basically just go through your house and be like, think it's a murderer, cause or somebody that has like a gun and whatnot, and they take it like as a serious threat.
So what would I do? I would find out where this location's at, and I would call like, hey, there's a guy here with the bomb. Mm-hmm. This is my location.
Or like, there's a guy and a gun in there. We're like, we need to take care of him or something like that. And then,
but I mean, I don't think a gun would be.
Well, yeah,
everybody.
But something big, or they just killed somebody, or
something.
And this person could be in Florida and calling somebody in Texas.
Yeah, and then they'll use like they'll do like *67 or something like that to like hide their phone number, and so they can't be tracked or anything like that. And then also use the VPN.
So I definitely download VPN.
Now, in saying that, if it might slow the connection speed, so gaming through it is probably not going to be the most ideal. Now, if you're cool with losing, some lives and some frames and stuff, go for it. But
Dang it, not gonna do that. I already have horrible gaming experience. So. But these guys are helping me with that right now, so we're updating that. But real quick, another quick story you were gonna tell us about earlier. How does one get banned on Instagram?
So basically, I downloaded this program, and it ended up.
Can we not say the program?
WinZip.
Oh, okay.
So I downloaded the program, and then I tried to get like a free key for it, and it ended up basically like stealing like information. So it actually posted like really bad pictures on my Facebook. So my Facebook ended up getting like taken down for a little bit, and then a couple other passwords and whatnot got leaked and like taken and whatnot. So I wiped the computer like a day or two later, like after the fact, and then they actually like took my passwords and like recently just started getting into my all my personal stuff.
So this is a person somewhere that did this.
Is that why sometimes like you're on Facebook and then you see some stuff that shouldn't be on there and you're like, this person would never post this.
Exactly.
It's like things that, you know, shouldn't be anywhere on the internet. And then you're like, what the heck?
So is that how it is? Just by downloading something that you had no idea, and Billy Bob made it. So when you downloaded, Billy Bob got all your stuff.
Yeah. So basically,
that's it.
That's basically it. Yeah.
They set up like a virus bot to go through your files and see what your passwords are and for what website, and then they use that to their advantage to try to get you banned or try to get other people.
Just because they're bored.
Just because people are like that.
Just they're bored. Because last time, a few months back, I got a message from somebody asking for some money, this and that, and I was like, oh, okay, let me see what's going on. And then some of the conversation was weird, and then later it was like, hey, that wasn't me. If anybody's, you know,
if anybody's checking, that's not me.
That's not me. Like, if they're asking you to send money, I'm like,
I'll already send them $1,000.
No, heck no. It takes a lot, but that's crazy. I thought that was in the past. I thought that was stuff, because at least me, I used to hear about it more back then. Are things just getting a little bit safer, or is it?
People are getting more tricky with it. So there's
so now it's happening more than it used to, let's say 10 years ago.
It's harder to tell what is going on exactly.
Cause
there's a lot of scams.
So all my stuff could be leaking right now. I have no idea.
Just leaking, oozing out like a computer.
Just dripping out.
Well, like, you know, if
I have a Mac, they said with Mac you're good. No, Apple you're good, right?
There's other ways than viruses. There's other ways.
I mean, if you think about it, like, you put all of your information out, you have to sign up with Facebook, so you give them your name, your birth date, and all of that. And so someone you don't set up your security permissions right, so someone could go to your Facebook, look at it, and say, hey, I know this guy now. I have his name, his birth, his address, all of this stuff. And so now they take that, and they might set up their own Facebook account with all of that, with just a different email address, and they throw your picture on it, and then they start friending people, stuff like that. It just starts, or they take that and they have the basis to maybe apply for a credit card. You never know. Some of these places don't need a lot, or take a loan out. You know what I mean? So all of a sudden, you start to think like, okay, is it really safe for me to put this stuff in? Correct. Or is there another way that I could go about it by not having this out to the public? Because
because like nobody knows my middle name. I don't ever put it out there.
Right.
So no one's ever gonna get me. I got you guys.
Just search. Just search your name. There's public records.
No, I blocked all that. You can go online and block that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
But so there's all kinds of ways that people are doing it now.
Aren't you a criminal or felon?
Whoa. So anyways, on other news, actually, if you Google me, I won't be on there.
Right.
Yeah, right. You'll see a mugshot. But I think I heard about something like that when people were saying people put like your 10-year picture or those little memes like, what's your favorite color, this and that. So like they're like, stop answering these questions because you're just helping them get to know you a little bit better, right? So if your favorite color is blue and this is what you are, that's probably your password's probably, for instance, Ray Blue.
Exactly.
And then the year you were born. Or 69 because that's like a cool number to use.
And a lot of people use their kids' names.
Correct.
So they'll figure out what your kid's name is, and they start,
and you're over here like, look, guys.
I'm safe now.
Yeah.
No, you're not.
I'm safe. I put on here all my information just to answer this question.
Right.
Interesting. He does them all the time. I see him on Facebook all the time answering all these questions. But I don't do none of that. I just say my personal information. But let me see. See, this is why this is my name. Nobody knows my legal name.
Yeah.
Do you guys know my legal name?
I was about to say it.
I just know Ray.
Yep.
Yeah.
These guys can't hack me. Got him. Got him, coach.
Done.
Got him. They didn't get me. Yeah. So anyways, anything else you guys want to share What else do y'all do, offer?
I mean,
what can people come to you for?
I was going to say, if someone wants to come to us for any type of computer issue, doesn't matter what it is, we'll tell you if we can't help you. So if you got an issue, come to us.
Has it happened? You're like, hey, I can't help you?
A little bit here and there, but we try to connect with someone so that way, hey, I don't do it, but I'll go over here, So if, even if businesses want to connect with us about, partnerships or whatever, we might try to work something out there. But, that's what we're here for, is to help, So if we can help you and assist you in different areas, let us know.
What about gaming, for the gaming people?
We build gaming rigs and whatnot. Like, well, if you have any like issues, like I have this one issue where it's just crashing the game all the time. I'm kind of working on it with Dwayne today.
Is that me? Am I the issue?
No. It's a different system.
He fixed your issue
Ray
within 10 minutes.
That's my middle name, the Issue Aguilar.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's good. Anything else from you, Luis? Any other cool questions?
No, I think that's...
Give him one more question, a hard question. I know you have one in here real quick.
No, I think that's it.
No?
Yeah,
all right.
that's it.
All right, guys. Well, thanks everybody that stopped in today for this episode. This is our 10th episode.
11th.
11th. This is our 10th, 11th episode. We'll figure that out here shortly. But I appreciate you guys coming out. Again, we have Conroe Repair Hub. Oh, wait. No. Conroe Computer Repair Conroe. Jesus Christ. Here, they're actually right here next to us off of Dallas Street, across the street from the post office. Thank you guys for being here. Sure. Remember, guys, share, tag anybody that might be interested in this, and we will see you guys next week.
Bye.
Peace.